Hello, I want to make video games. I watched some tutorials, but I never really code my own game or something like that. So I want to do my first game. But before I can start, I have to choose what game I'm going to make. So I want a jump and run pixel art fantasy theme game. The story is simple but epic. The kingdom of Lumeria was once a happy and peaceful place, but the stone that had everything together was stolen. Nobody knew who took it, and the king wanted answers, so he sent a knight to search for the stone. Let's create the game. Before I start with coding, I hopped into a sprite and did a game character. For the record, I spent like 2 to 3 hours on that. Then I created my game character and changed some settings. You can write name ideas for a knight in comments. Next, I implemented my player animations in Godot. And I can tell you, this is not the last time I'm changing something with the animation, especially with the timing. So we have now basic player animations and player movement. What we now need is a world in which we can actually play the game. So my plan is to make worlds so that you can jump from one to the other. The first world is going to be a floating island starter world. The second one I would like to make a forest. It's going to be a cursed forest, so it's a dark forest theme with very strong monsters. And the final world is going to be a boss world. I don't know what it's going to be. Let's create the first world. And I created art for this, but unfortunately I didn't have footage of it. And I'm using autotiling. I have a short on this, and this is super practical for making worlds without spending hours on it. So let's create the world. And I told you we have to do more animations, and here we are. I'm now doing a jump and fall animation so the game looks smoother. So now I coded a dev. You can see it right here. We have here handle dev, and here we have out of bounds. And if I'm going to players, we haven't enemy yet, but this is going to be the same. If you jump off a cliff, then you can see displaying the dev animation, and then this is going to kill you. You can see it right here, and it's the same what happens if you fight against an enemy and you are going to be killed. Now I'm going to make an actual enemy. So I'm now going to make an enemy, and I have a slime in mind. And let's hop into a sprite and create it. Let's hit play. Okay, so I changed now the code, and hopefully this is going to work. Now let's play run again, and it's working. Like, yes, we have now a slime that's moving to the left. Yeah, I know, but I'm going to add now some raycast so he can detect if he isn't on the ground anymore, and if this is the case, or raycast, he's going to turn around and go straight like this, and now then he's checking if there isn't any ground anymore, and then he's turning to the left again, and hopefully this is going to work. So see you later.
6.5 hours later.
So now after 6 hours, I'm not joking, I'm finally done with the slime movement. You can see it right here. If the edge is in front of him, he's turning around. This is perfectly. I fixed some bugs when player is jumping and turning to the other side. He can land on a platform. And then I'm finally finished with the slime movement. Then now the slime can actually follow the player, and if the player is nearby, the slime speed is increased, and if the player is out of range, and the slime is going to be normal and running from one side to the other side. Now it's missing a big part, the combat system, and now I'm going to implement it. So I have done now a combat system. This is looking like this. Here you have a slime, and if you're hitting one time you have a cooldown, and then you can hit it another time. I have to polish this because you can now spam the attack button, but as nothing happens. So I have to change the timer of this, so it's going to match it. And if you're wondering why there's an animation, I turned the animation off, and that's another thing I'm working on. I did make some herd walk animations for the night here, but I'm not going to use it because it's too complicated or it doesn't fit well in the code. So I'm using shaders so I'm not using any visual effects. I'm using sound if the player is hurt. So I worked a little while on it, and now you can see the slime animation is working. Also the attack animation you can see here is working fine. And I fixed the bug so you can actually double attack the slime from one direction without changing your position. I added coins that you can pick up, and I'm printing the coins, the number of coins you have to the console, so you can't see them right now. But my next step or my next project here is to make a UI so you can actually see your health and your coins amount. I also made more slimes. I added more slimes here in the level, and more islands and more coins. So you have now a little bit more realistic play game world. You can see right here. And I added also a hit flash. You can see if I'm damaging one slime. You can see right here it's going to play this effect. I've done this by shaders, that if you hit a slime, that it changes the pixels of the slime to all white, and then after a certain amount of time I'm changing it back, and now you have this cool effect. Now you can see when you hit the slime. So, but we have a big problem left, because the combat is kinda boring. So let's update it. First of all, I want a health bar so I can show the health of the enemy. You can see it right here. It was an update, but it wasn't huge. So let's create knockback. I've seen this in many jump and run games that the enemy is pushed back. So let's create it. So this should work. Okay, let's fix it. Now everything should be running fine, and let's see. Let's go. So I've now updated combat system. I know it's lacking music or something like that, but I want to implement this later on. I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe and write name ideas for the game and for the night, because I have absolutely no idea, in the comments, and join my Discord. Link is in the description. I see you on the next video. Ciao.